A new plan for regulating releases of water from New York State reservoirs is facing opposition from recent flood victims along the Delaware River. Environment correspondent Ed Rogers reports.
The Delaware River is running high, and the levels in the reservoirs that feed it are also above normal. Riverside residents and local officials expressed concerns over the possibility of another flood during a hearing the Delaware River Basin Commission held late yesterday afternoon. Officials were taking testimony on a new policy for releasing water from 3 New York State reservoirs. The commission had been releasing billions of gallons of water into the river when the combined capacity of the reservoirs reached 80%. The proposed flexible flow plan would increase the releases the higher the reservoir levels climb between June and September. Officials say the idea is to control flooding and to make sure there is enough water for fish and the millions of people who depend on the Delaware.
If we had had a set void problem or program back in the droughts we had in the late 90s, the reservoirs would have gone dry.
But the victims of 3 floods along the Delaware over the last 3 years say they want the reservoirs kept only 80% filled.
The June 06 flood spilled 109 billion gallons down on us. That's the equivalent of Niagara Falls, the flow from it dumping into our river for 37 hours.
We in Water Gap have lost a factory that has necessitated a 55% increase in taxes because of this flooding.
Environmentalists say too much emphasis is being placed on the role of the reservoirs in the flooding.
What we need to do to protect our flood victims and to protect our watershed as a whole is we need to restore the floodplain to health. We need to move flood victims to the higher ground. We need to reforest the floodplain, and we need to let the river flow naturally.
Another part of the plan that's drawing fire calls for studying the possibility of increasing the size or capacity of 2 of the reservoirs at the headwaters of the Delaware.
To make a pre-decision in advance of the public ever even being able to consider that proposal really is a hijacking of the process.
If those dams aren't safe and 20% more water comes downriver, we're all dead.
There are a lot of studies that have to be done before that is really anticipated. There has to be environmental reviews, there has to be structural, reviews of the plans. It's a long way off.
The Basin Commission could adopt the new reservoir flow program by mid-May. Ed Rogers, NJN News, West Trenton.